we are going to learn some basics of UV mapping. There's a million things to know about UV mapping. We're going to learn a few of them, quite a few of them, and we're going to do this in a lot of different ways. So we'll learn one way here first, and then we'll learn a few other ways. And so there's a lot of steps that you need to follow, so it's pretty complicated at first, but as we do it over and over, we'll start catching on. We'll get it. So I'm going to show you how to stick a UV map onto this cube. So first thing we need to do is go into edit mode. So what we need to do first is unwrap the cube. So we need to get it flat so that we can draw a picture on it or put something on it, and then we will wrap it back around the box. So we need to go into Edge Select, hit A to deselect everything, and we're going to select a few edges to unwrap it. Now there's lots of different ways we could unwrap it that works, but I will show you the way I always do it, and it would be best if you followed that. So I'm going to get these first three edges right here. I've got the y-axis running from left to right, and I'm going to get this the top one and the two sides. Okay, I'm going to go up to the top now, and I'm going to get the two sides up here. So I'll hold down Shift and right click to select more. Then I'm going to go to the back side and get the two sides there as well. Hold down Shift and right click those two. So I've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides selected. 7 sides. Now there's a button here called Mark Seam, and it's right on my main menu here. I have a different version than you. You have these little tabs on the side, so click the tab. I can't remember what it's called, but it's right below Tools. Click the tab below Tools, and then you'll have this Mark Seam button. If you can't find it, keep looking. Click Mark Seam, and it turns them kind of red right there, and that's going to cut on those seams. Now if I hit A to select everything, now what I'm going to do is come up here to this little corner where my cursor is, click on those little dashed lines, click and drag out, and it gives me another window that's just the same as my other 3D view. It's also got this menu which I have over here, so I'm going to get rid of it. Either click and drag it, or the T button toggles it. T. I could even come over here and hit T and toggle that one, but I'm going to leave that one there because I use it, and get rid of this one here. I'm going to change this view from 3D view to UV image editor. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit with my scroll wheel. Alright, so what I'm going to do is unwrap it from here and stick it over here. That way I can draw on it or bring in a picture and then wrap it back around the cube. So with your mouse cursor over here on this left side, if you hit U after it's all selected, so make sure it's all selected, A to select everything, and then U on the keyboard to unwrap. And I'm just going to use the first unwrap option. And it should have unwrapped in a cross depending on how you marked the seams. So if you marked them differently, it might look different right here. As long as they're all connected, well, there's certain ways that work and certain ways that don't. So try and get the T if you can. Now that I've got that, it's all flattened out, I'm going to draw a picture on it. So, and now here there's a lot of different ways to do this. I can bring in a picture, and we'll do that several times. You can draw a picture and use it. You can export it into maybe Photoshop or a different program, paint on it, and then import it back in. So lots of different options. We'll try a few of them. On this one, we're just going to get a new image here. So click New. It's always good to give it a name, so let's do Cube Map. And let's change the color from black, so click on this black color. Let's change it to white. Actually, maybe we should leave it, yeah, let's just leave it for this one. So let's leave it black, click OK. Now, I don't know why it zoomed in so far, but zoom back out, and now we've got this black picture here. Alright, now we are going to change the view. So from view right down here, switch it to paint, and we're just going to draw a little bit on it. So now I need this menu back, except not the T menu. Now it's over there for some reason. In paint view, if you hit N on the keyboard, it brings up the menu with our colors. So it's going to be a white color. That's good. I can get rid of it. N. Actually, I'm going to go back in and change the radius because it's really thick. I'm going to change the radius to maybe 10 and the strength to 100 or 1. Hit N to get rid of it. And now I'm going to draw a letter for each side of the cube. And this one's right here in the front. right there. This one's on the bottom, and it's going to be the same direction. Okay, now 3 is on the other side, back behind there that we can't see. And since it's coming back up, it's going to be upside down. So I'm going to draw it backwards. Oh, that wasn't backwards at all, was it? Oh, yeah, it was. Okay, backwards. I'm getting all confused because I've done this a bunch of times. So 3 is backwards because it's going to be wrapped up the backside, and it's going to look forward when we look at it. 4 can stay the same, and 5 and 6 are sideways, but they're coming up the side of the box. And so if I draw it sideways like this, it should work out. Okay. Now that I've got my numbers, we'll see if it works, and they all need to be right side up. So let's test it out. If I now... So right here is a menu where I can see all of my images. And so we've got the cube map right there. We're going to now we need to add a texture, material first, and then the texture on top of it. So we've done materials before, right over here in this menu. The material is the circle. We've done materials with color, and now we're going to put a texture on top of that material. So I'm going to rename it cube map. Oh, that's nice. Rename cube map, and then I'm going to come to the next tab here, which is texture. So I'm going to leave my material the same color, because here's my color. I already have my color on my texture. So we're going to make this picture a texture. So come to the next menu, click texture, and I'm going to get rid of this one and just get a new one. So I click the X there and a new one. Okay, the type of texture right here I'm going to change. I'm going to change it from clouds, which is default, and there's a few default things, textures, they're not very good. So most of the time we're going to bring in an image or movie, but mainly an image. So click image or movie here, and then we need to go find it. We can go open it in our files, but I'm just going to click right here since we created it in Blender, and it's sitting right there. So then I will put it on. We should also save it. Let me do this first, finish this. Now if I come down here to mapping, mapping should be open, and there's this generated mapping, which is used in certain situations, but not usually for what we're doing. So we're going to change this to UV, almost always. So change that to UV. If not, it's going to mess it up. We'll see some examples later in other projects where you'll see that it will mess up. So change that under mapping from generated to UV. Come back up, and now we've got it there. And if we come over here and render, if we do an F12 to render, make sure your cursor is in that box, this view over here, and then it shows it. It shows my 1 and my 4. It doesn't show my 5, or whichever one that is, because there's no lighting on it. So we're going to change that. Hit escape to get out of render view, and zoom out a little bit. In fact, I can make this smaller. I can even get rid of it. We can get it later. If I click these little diagonal markings, click and drag just slightly, and then it goes away. Let me show that again. If I click and drag just a little bit, it actually gives me this little shaded arrow right here, white arrow, and then let go, it gets rid of that menu. So I can always get it back or get rid of it anytime I want. Okay, if I zoom out, I've got one lamp here. We're going to give it a little bit more light so we can see all sides of the cube. So go out, hit tab to go to object mode, right click on the lamp, Shift D to duplicate, and I'm just going to drag it to each corner. Shift D to duplicate, drag it over here, Shift D to duplicate. Now I've got one in all 4, oh, that didn't quite work out. I've got one in all 4 corners, just about. Okay, just like that, and then 2 of them on the corners. I'm going to pull them down and put them underneath the cube so that I can have some lighting underneath as well. Okay, so now we've got lighting. The cube should be lit up on all sides. And if I hit F12 again to render, there I can see all my sides. Well, I can't see all my sides, I can see 3 of them. So here's another trick. In order to see all the sides, I'm going to do a live render view. Now only use this if you have a really simple object, and I have a cube. It's really simple. So these computers can't handle a whole lot. It's a live render, so that I can click and drag and it renders whatever view I'm in. Okay, and see it's already lagging a little bit, but it's good for something real simple. I can even zoom in on it. Alright, we're missing some light over there. What happened? If I go back out to solid view, There's no light on this side. Looks like I need to drag that lamp out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now, oops, that's my render. If I go back into render view, now I can zoom in. I can drag all the way around. There's my 6. It's right side up. 1, 4. So whatever I see, I should see it right side up. 5, 3. If you don't, my 2's upside down. But if I change it around a little bit, if I go this way, then it's right side up. Okay. That looks like upside down, but that's because I drew it upside down, but it's correct. Okay, so, alright, if I spin around, everything's right side up. That's what it should look like. Now, I'm going to come out of render view, go to solid. That is the first thing that we can do with UV mapping. And we'll do several things like I mentioned. I'm going to come out of render, results. But that's it right there.